You're live. Hi, everybody. It's David and Steve in Fort Lauderdale, just after the boat show. Boat show finished yesterday. And as you guys all know, I'd promised that I'd have a chat with Steve about YatCo. And he's the founder and the owner of the business. But when I met you, Steve, was 20 years ago at least. And you were a Pershing dealer. Just for the benefit of the students who are all interested in being yacht brokers, can you explain the difference between a dealer and a broker and what you were doing back then?
Sure. So yeah, a dealer is basically a representative of a product, similar to an automotive dealer, whereas a broker would be focused more on the pre-owned version and reselling of that product.
Yeah. But being a dealer doesn't stop you from doing some brokerage.
No, usually in the yachting industry it goes hand in hand. In fact, one feeds the other in the sense of most prudent sellers will make sure they sell their boat first before they move on to their next vessel, or have a plan to liquidate that asset at some point quickly.
And you were pretty successful. I remember you were very successful.
Yeah, I think I became their number one dealer in the world within 1 year, and then got Reba Yachts, started out with a zip code, and then the whole state of Florida, and then the whole country. Yeah.
Because I was working at the time for Ferretti Group. I was representing Custom Line, and you had a client back then that you brought to the shipyard for a boat which in today's value was a $10 million yacht, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, back then it was the old
I think
lira.
it was 12.5 at the time. Yeah.
So back then it was the old Italian lira, though, so it was probably a few billion actually in lira. And then at a certain point, Steve decided to pack that in, which at the time I thought you were making a big mistake, and to start this brand new company called YatCo. So first of all, just tell me what your reasoning was, why you thought the market needed YatCo, and what your business plan was.
Yeah, well, actually, what led to it is I started in the industry washing and waxing boats, and then became a first mate sport fishing, and wanted to do work for Viking, Hatteras, or Bertram. I love to travel, so I figured I wanted to do it internationally. So I figured international sales and marketing for Viking, Hatteras, or Bertram. I got hired by luck by Viking Yacht Company in Nice, France, and because I had studied in Nice for a study abroad semester, so it was a good fit for them, and basically lived there and became their international sales representative, and eventually their international sales manager. So then from there, as I was selling boats around the world, there was a brokerage boat or a vessel to get rid of. So if for example, I sold a 50-foot Viking to Greece, the owner might have a 45 Hatteras. There might be 3 to 5 buyers in the whole country of Greece for a 45 Hatteras. So I would pick up the phone and start networking around, etc. This is really just prior to the internet taking hold, and decided in my mind that I wanted to put together a platform to do that digitally instead of the old-fashioned way of picking up the phone and calling. So that's kind of the impetus of putting together a network. And then I put that platform together, was approached by the Florida Yacht Brokers Association, the Mediterranean Yacht Brokers Association, 13 associations around the world to develop a platform on their behalf.
And that would have been 2007 and 8?
That would have been 2000. Yeah, so it'll be 25 years next year. Yeah.
So the internet was in its infancy.
Yeah.
Back then. And so your platform, I didn't know that, by the way, that MEBA and EBA had both approached you.
Yeah, the EBA was the Florida Yacht Brokers Association back then, but same thing, same association.
So they recognized the need for a platform in which all listings of boats could be accessed digitally.
Yeah, there was a platform back in the day called Buck BUC, and but they weren't on the internet, and so they wanted an internet-based system. They also realized that to run the technology platform, to do it through a political association is problematic, because 1 year the association, they go different directions. You can't have a full momentum, so we did it in partnership with a contract that was a good platform to move it forward.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that most of the students at some point have looked at YatCo. It's yatco.com, isn't it?
Correct.
YatCo.com.
Yeah.
And you've got basically, excuse me, too much partying at the boat show. So you've got a front end which the public can see.
Correct.
So the public can go through it, and I don't know, if they're looking for a Riva 76 Bahamas, there's a search tool, right? So they
Correct.
just go Riva from 70 to 80 foot with a year that they might be interested in and a
Yeah.
price range, and they can find it.
Yeah.
But what we're interested in is the back end.
Yeah, that's where it's
But-
most important. You know, if you go on the internet, you'll see hundreds of sites that promote themselves as an MLS or, you know, a data source. But really the key is accuracy, integrity of the data. And so we work hard to ensure accurate data, professionals only, in the sense that we want to ensure that that the buying community feels that they know that they can trust the sources and
Yeah.
you know, be verified, because when you're sending 10% commission on $1 million boats, etc., deposits, you want to be sure that you're with a trusted source. So
Yeah.
we take the data integrity part very seriously.
Yeah. And I've always been very open in my criticism of Yacht World on that respect. And I'm quite happy to pass it on to the students that one of my big criticisms when I was doing more brokerage work was that you can sometimes have a client looking for a custom line 94 and it looks like there's 27 of them for sale.
Yeah.
Because there's 27 listings with different locations, different prices, different specs. But in actual fact, there's only two. But there's like 13, 14 different brokers all advertising